Tuesday, May 21st. Joining me now from Washington, reporter for The Hill, Julia Manchester. Julia, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. What do you think Congress can get from Don McGahn's testimony here?
Well, Yasmin, Don McGahn is a very critical witness, if you will, in this entire Mueller report saga. Don McGahn told Mueller in, extended hours of testimony that President Trump had essentially ordered him to fire special counsel Robert Mueller, and then had said he should put out a statement later saying he denied that President Trump ordered him to fire Mueller. So there's a lot going on here, and we're seeing that Democrats really want to focus on the issue of obstruction of justice. Well, I think Don McGahn is one of those key central figures that can maybe give more information on the issue of obstruction. But it's interesting, over the weekend we've seen that the president's chief allies and surrogates, namely his personal attorney Rudy Giuliani, have gone after McGahn, saying if McGahn actually had an issue with President Trump's rhetoric or his actions in office, why didn't he just resign? However, we do know that Don McGahn said he would rather resign than fire Robert Mueller. So Democrats really looking to center in on that issue of obstruction, and I think they're obviously going to start with Don McGahn.
Let's talk about some of these plummeting poll numbers that I just read out. 39% dropping 5 points, it seems, and then 57% disapproval rating. This is some of the lowest numbers the president has ever seen. Of course, I referred to the comments that he made after the Charlottesville riots. That at that point, that's when the numbers were low as well. What do you make of these low numbers that the president is getting post-Mueller report? And also put that in juxtaposition to the fact that we are awaiting at any moment, possibly this week, an announcement from former Vice President Joe Biden and his bid to get into the Democratic field.
Well, it's interesting. For months now, President Trump's poll numbers have kind of fluctuated in this mid 40% range, sometimes on the, a little over 45% or a little under. So this is a major dip. And, I think Democrats have gotten a lot of criticism for maybe focusing too much on the Mueller report. Saying, a lot of people saying that voters say they want to hear more about kitchen table issues such as health care and the economy. Well, that criticism should be aimed at President Trump as well, because while President Trump says he wants to focus on those issues, he's the one tweeting about it constantly. And I do think there is polling that shows that the American public is fatigued by this entire Mueller report saga. So there might be a little fatigue there, and the president's negative tweeting about all of this could be playing a role in this. However, I think when former Vice President Joe Biden jumps in the race, I think a lot of voters are going to be looking at these two characters and kind of seeing a juxtaposed position between the two.
I also wonder, though, with talks of impeachment from the left, how that is going to affect the president's poll numbers, if in fact it'll keep them low, or he could possibly gain some points if there's more talk of impeachment, because they could see sort of the Democrats digging in on this versus looking ahead.
Right, and I think looking at these poll numbers, the one thing that stuck out to me is if he's dipping below that 40% range, I'm wondering if his base that has been steadfastly loyal to him in the past is starting to chip away there. However, I think impeachment could galvanize his base. I mean, President Trump in 2018 on the campaign trail for Republicans said they're going to impeach me. That's why we need to hold on to the House and elect Republicans. So, the Democrats pushing for impeachment, they may be galvanizing their own base, but they could be galvanizing the Republican base as well.
All right, Julia Manchester, thank you. I'm going to talk to you again in just a little bit. All right, turning to the latest in the deadly suicide bombings in Sri Lanka on Easter Sunday.